Hey, y'all. This your girl Nina from Unbreakable Strong Woman. Want to talk to you real quick about mental abuse. A little story time. So if you don't have nothing to do, sit back and listen. Because a lot of women and men go through this. I know I come off as being a very strong person. I might come off as judgmental. But I want to share something I've been through. I was mental abused twice in my life, never physical. The very first time I went through mental abuse was in 2003. I had 3 kids at the time. I met a guy, and he appeared to be a very strong-willed person. You know, he was from Illinois. Hard exterior, but he kept a job. He was a provider, but he was firm, right? Something out of my element, something out of my league. I wasn't used to a man like him. But I felt like, we compatible. Well, after we dated for a while, he started mentally tearing me down. I went from this confident, nice, sweet person who had dreams and desires to this weak woman that nobody recognized. He made me believe I was fat. When I looked in the mirror, I seen a fat woman, and I was only probably 119 pounds. My confidence level went all the way down. I started believing there was something wrong with me. I started getting T.D. Jenks books and all these books and trying to build up my, my courage and build up my confidence, and couples book, trying to do everything I can to make this man happy. But he kept on breaking me down. I remember I went to Chicago one time to visit my oldest sister, God rest her soul, and we all went out, right? And they used to me being this woman that loves to dress, laugh, have fun, outgoing. I was so quiet that my sister asked me, was I okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She said, you acting different. You acting timid. So she called my mother and said something was wrong with me. She said, Nina's losing a lot of weight, but she's wearing men clothes. I used to wear men size 34, 36 jeans to hide my body because he used to talk about me so bad. So I started believing it, that I was ugly, I was fat. I started believing. iPhones again, y'all. But anyway, hopefully I can get through this video before this iPhone act up. I had a boutique at the time I was dating him, and I worked. When I met him, I had a 3-story home, beautiful place. I had 2 vehicles, worked a job, and had a boutique. So I was self-sufficient. I didn't need a man to complete me. So he was just a plus in my life. Well, he was jealous of my business. He said he wasn't, but he was. I mean, I used to go to Chicago and New York and buy merchandise. He'd go with me. And one time we went to Chicago and got some shoes, right? On the way home, he started mentally just beating me down, just mentally while I'm driving, just tearing me to pieces mentally. I'm crying, I'm screaming. The more I scream, the more he laughs, and he's enjoying my misery. So I pull over, we arguing. He take all my shoes that I just purchased for my... I'm sorry, every time I get on the phone, I start getting interrupted. That's my big brother. He might call right back. But anyway, he threw all my merchandise in the middle of the expressway. And thank God I was thinking, because I went to run to grab him, and a semi-truck was coming. And it missed me by inches. I wouldn't even be here right now if it wasn't for God on my side. All the way home, Chicago takes about 2.5, 3 hours to get back to Grand Rapids. That trip ended up being an 8-hour trip with us on the highway, fighting and arguing, and I'm crying. And when I got back, I had a mental breakdown. My mother had to rush me to the hospital, but I didn't even tell her everything that happened in Chicago. I mean, it's so much happened that weekend, and I'm going to put it in my book. But after that, I became angry. This is why I be making videos, because I be want women to know I understand of how I allowed someone to treat me. So when my kid's father came back into my life, he didn't recognize who I was. He said, you were so sweet and kind and giving and loving when I left, and I come back, you a pit bull. I was a whole different kind of beast. I was mad at the world because I felt like I had to be tough because this is what this brother put me through. So I went through years of just being mad. You know, a man wasn't no good, and I hated men. He made me hate men. So when I be making these videos, trust and believe I know what I be talking about because I lived it. After that, I met my ex-husband. I met him in 2016. He started off spoiling me, flying me places, bought me a BMW, just pampering me. Until I got rid of everything I worked hard for and moved down to Birmingham, Alabama, into his world. Do y'all know the second day I got there, after I gave away everything I worked for and have nowhere to go but to his house, I found something in his laptop that I questioned because we had been dating a year, but it was long distance, right? And it was something about him and a white girl that he was in the military with. I just asked him a question. He called me a raggedy bitch. Now, never once had this guy cursed me. Never once did I see him act this way. But now I'm in his world. He knew I got rid of everything I had. He knew I didn't have nowhere to go. So the mental abuse started from there. You need me. You don't have nowhere to go. Your ass don't do this. Your ass won't. I mean, he was talking to me like I was trash. So it reminded me of 2003. So I instantly fell back into depression. I instantly fell back into being insecure, timid, thinking I was fat. So I would take the abuse, and I'm like, it got to be me. Something wrong with me. I started going to a church and asking for prayer, tried to get counseling for us. Then we ended up getting married. He pretty much forced me into marriage. I didn't want to marry him, but I felt like I didn't have nowhere else to go because I just gave up everything to be with him. You know, our plan was to stay together for a year to see if we was compatible to get married. He forced me into marriage after 60 days. I pretty much was at his mercy, so I married him. My wedding day, he threw coffee in my face. He claimed it was an accident, but I didn't want to get married. I was upset, and he could tell, and he hit my hand, and the coffee went up in my face. So on all my pictures, I'm looking depressed, because I was. So here I am again, going through mental abuse. People would look at me and they'd see me out. Oh, you're so pretty. Your wife is so pretty. She's so nice. And I had this fake smile all the time because I wasn't happy, even though this man took completely care of me. So one day, after being mentally broke down, he was on the road. You know, he works on the road. He has his own trucking company. He breaking me down, talking about me bad, just making up stuff. I know the stuff ain't true, but I felt like it in my heart. That's who I was. Because that's what mental abuse do to you. It makes you feel like you're not worthy. So he calling me every name but the child of God. He's way, I think, in California at this time. I'm at home. My baby girl at school. And he's just talking about me. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm praying. Like, why would you do this to me? Why would you take me out of my element? Why would you have me move to Birmingham and get rid of everything I worked for, knowing I don't have nowhere to go right now? I give up everything to be with you. He told me to get out of his house. Now I'm his wife. Now I was raised by both my parents, so I'm not used to stuff like this, right? I went to this church, y'all, and it was closed. It was this white congregation. It was a white Caucasian church. And I remember seeing the secretary walking past the window. I jumped out my car in the middle of the parking lot, and I ran up to the door. I just needed to get to God. So the first church I spotted, I ran, and I fell on my knees in the midst of the parking lot and the steps, and I just looked up and I started screaming and crying and asking God, where was he at? Why will you do this to me? I'm crying for my parents. I'm just lost. I'm crying. I'm going crazy. And it seemed like I heard my mama's voice. She told me to get up, go home and pack my clothes, and get out that man house. So what I did, I went and got my little girl out of school. She was 12 at the time. I went home and I got everything I could put in this SUV. He had bought me a new SUV. I had a BMW. We had a Lincoln. I didn't take none of the furniture. The house was nice as heck. I took whatever I could put in that SUV, which consists of 3 TVs that I brung down there, all of my little girl stuff from her room, just a portion, a little small portion of my clothes. And I left everything. I even forgot everything that belonged to my deceased parents. I forgot their death certificates, any clothing. My dad wore a sword. I forgot everything belonged to my parents down there. So I took off at 10 o'clock at night. I had to go over to my daughter's friend's house and let her say goodbye to her friends. Broke my heart because she cried because she didn't want to move to Birmingham. And she cried because she didn't want to leave Birmingham. So I messed my child up by putting her in the midst of this shit I'm going through, right? We leave it at midnight. Well, I mean, at 10 o'clock at night. And I remember looking back at Birmingham and I could see the city behind me. And I said to myself, I will never come back here again in my life. He started calling me nonstop. Still messing with me. He don't know I'm leaving. He's in California on a business trip. Calling me, picking with me. And I'm laughing, you know, I'm trying to play it off. And then I stopped answering. He blowing my phone up, calling me bitches, hoes, just going off. By the time I got to Michigan, I called him on FaceTime. I said, you want to know where your car at? Your BMW is still at the house. Your Lincoln's still at the house. Everything's still at the house. But the SUV, I have it. Where are you? And I showed him the Michigan sign. Oh, he lost his mind. He didn't know I was leaving. He didn't believe I was going to leave. Now I am a thieving hoe. I destroyed his life. He called on everybody and their mama trying to put me down. But this the same guy told me to leave, right? I come back home to Michigan because, you know, they say if you can just make it home, you can make it anywhere. I come back home to Michigan with my baby girl. And guess what, y'all? Out of all the people I helped, because I have always been the one in my family that always had a nice place, always had a car, always had a business, always had a job, always had a solid foundation. Over 30 family members that lived with me in and out for free. I come back home and I was homeless in my car. I remember one day I was sick. It's a video. It went viral. I just seen it the other day again. I was sick in my car and I wanted to die. I couldn't hardly talk. And I was in my car in the parking lot of the Holiday Inn. And I was just crying and talking to the video, and the video went viral. And the only reason I wasn't scared in my car because I had my gun with me. But let me speed up the story real quick. After being in my car, my oldest daughter got sick with cancer after I got back. She was diagnosed with leukemia. So I was staying at St. Mary's Hospital with her. The second day I was there, right? I had took the kids up there, my baby girl, her baby girl, and we was going to spend a weekend up there, right? Everything I owned was in my car. Everything I had left. I left everything in Birmingham. Everything I had left was in my car. So I grabbed my bag, my laptop, because I was doing business online, and I grabbed my toothbrush and stuff, and I said I would come back out in the morning and get my gun and some changing clothes. I get up that morning, I come back to my vehicle, right, to change. I'm walking in the parking lot. I'm looking around. My vehicle is not where it was. So I'm like, nah, I know I parked right here. So I called security. They didn't see nobody tow a vehicle. I'm walking through the parking lot, fall on my knees, screaming and crying again. My vehicle is gone. Everything I had left in the world is gone. Calls the police because my gun is in there. He asked me my ex-husband's phone number. He called him, Mr. Ali, did you come and get your wife's vehicle? Because it's a registered gun to you in this vehicle. We want to know where it is. And if I did, you know what he did? He heard my daughter had cancer. We don't have kids together. It's his stepdaughter. So he drove here in his semi-truck with the intentions, with his cousin he was training, to come see about my daughter. But when he got to the hospital, he spotted the SUV he bought me. And instead of coming in, you know what he did? He had his cousin drive my SUV back to Birmingham, and he drove his semi-truck back and took everything I had left in that vehicle. So I'm standing in the middle of St. Mary's parking lot, my daughter in the hospital fighting for her life with just the clothes on my back. And that was a sundress and some sandals. I called a friend. He took me. He bought me some little clothes at Walmart. Make a long story short, I stayed in my car. I got a job. I worked my way out of a car. I ended up in a hotel paying $1,800 a month for 3 months. I worked my way out of that hotel. I paid down on my apartment. I got my apartment. I ended up with some new furniture. I decorated it with a whole lot of used stuff that was really nice. I ended up having to get clothes from the Goodwill to go to work. But since I know fashion, it looked like I came out of Macy's. People used to want me to dress them. And where'd you get your outfit, Goodwill? And I worked my way back. And after that, I was there 3 years. A Karen did something to me. And I'm going through a situation with that now. But I'm saying this to say, I got to get out of Michigan. Nothing good ever happened to me here. I thought if I came back home, I would be okay. But no, it's a struggle. And to all the people who ever been mental abused, you got to stay prayed up. Because just yesterday, y'all seen a video I made about someone saying I look different in person. Let me tell you, this is a person that's supposed to be my friend. One of the people that said this. He know I've been mentally abused, so he tried to tear me down. He degraded me yesterday. He said everything under the sun. All because I realized I don't want to be with him no more. But when someone know your past, they bring it back up and they try to tear you down. You got to be very careful who you share what with. Because mental abuse can sneak back up on you. I thought I was strong until yesterday. I have been broken down, beat down, feeling discouraged over 24 hours from words. You must keep God in your life. You must stay prayed up. And when you cut people off that's not good for you, keep that door closed. Because people can set you back 10 years by their words. And there's some horrible men out here and women. But for a man to try to mentally tear a woman down knowing her story, this person know my story because he helped me when I was in the midst of that parking lot with just the clothes on my back. He the one took me to Walmart. He the one helped me get in a hotel. He the one helped me get back on my feet because he liked me. And we became the best of friends, and since then I didn't help him a lot. But just when he had the opportunity to break me, he tried it yesterday. And that let me know where his heart really lies, because he tried to say he's a God-fearing man, but you can't be a God-fearing man, play on somebody's weakness. I'm saying this video from my heart because I have to write my book called Unbreakable. My book, I know will be the bestseller. When y'all hear my stories and what I have endured, and I still come on here and laugh and smile, y'all will be amazed of what I've been through and where my strength come from. I've been through some trials and tribulations, and I don't even know why, because I have always been sheltered and spoiled. I guess these decisions I have made in my life, sometimes you can make the wrong choices and decisions. I have tried to love people so hard and tried to get them to love themselves where I lost myself in the midst of it. Sometimes you can give everything. Have you ever told somebody, I gave you everything? I give my kids everything. Think about those words. If you give somebody everything, guess what? You don't have nothing left for yourself. And that's what we do sometimes. We give somebody everything we have till we don't have nothing left to give ourselves. And that's where depression come in, suicide, mental abuse, mentally tore down. You can't function. I bet half of you watch me right now, you not living the dreams that you used to dream when you was young. Because you lost yourself and you just became a worker. You just became a mom or a dad. You just became a person that exists and not living. Dig deep down inside you and pull that person back out. Do not die an unlived life. That's my advice to you. Do not die an unlived life. Do not take your dreams to that cemetery. That little dash that's on there when you die, it tells your story. What do you want your story to say? Do you want your story to say she was a dreamer? She wanted to do this. She wanted to do that. No, live every second like it's your last second on earth, because you don't know what it is. It's sad when you see potential wasted. And some people, since they don't love their life, they don't want you to love yours. Some people know that they messed up with you. So when they see you happy and moved on, they do everything they can in their power to tear you down. Don't believe it. And I was there yesterday. It took for a few guy friends I know that met me in person. A lot of people know me in person. I'm from Grand Rapids. I know they was like, why is Nina asking me this? I got in their inbox and said, do I look the same in person? I felt so insecure yesterday. I had to ask them to get validation. And each one was like, yeah, you're beautiful. What is wrong with you? They didn't know I was being mentally tore down. I had to get some validation because I felt like I was ugly again. I started to feel like I was fat again. I started believing that instantly, just that fast from somebody's words. And then it took for Leon to keep encouraging me, talking to me all day, praying, telling me how beautiful I was. And I hate that I have to seek validation, but y'all don't know how bad mental abuse can hurt you. He was so livid that he wanted to call this person, but I wouldn't let him. Because I'm like, no, it is not that serious. You know what hurt that person more than anything? Is to not ever be available to me again. Not even as a friend. Because friends don't hurt you like that. Friends don't throw up your past and make you suffer and want to see you in pain. Friends don't compare you to another female. Real men don't do that. So all they let me know was he is not a real man. You know, some people just males. But I wanted to say that, and sorry, this door is so loud. It's getting so dark in here, so I wanted to come into the light. I just wanted to say, I thank you all who watch my videos. And I thank you all who try to keep me encouraged and who support me. And I pray that you share my videos. I've made a promise to myself this year, and I've been wasting time, that I'm going to go hard on my YouTube channel.